Hey, Carl.
Hi, Jeremy.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. And it looks like Luke just joined.
Yep.
Mark. And Brad.
Hey, Brad.
Nice. Hey, Brad. Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way,
Hey, Jeremy.
everybody, I don't know if I told you this or not. I can't remember if I passed it along, but we got to make sure videos are on. So just a heads up. Perfect. Looks like we're good. Sweet. I know Tom is planning on joining, but Carl, do you want to take this over?
Sure, I will take it over. I'll call the meeting to order. It looks like it's about right on the dot, 6 o'clock. I don't believe we have anybody from the public that's on the line with us. So since we don't, we'll move on to the approval of the meeting of the last meeting minutes. Everyone had a chance to review them?
Yes,
Questions, comments?
not from my end.
Nothing.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make the
I'll
motion,
approve.
this is Mark.
Perfect.
And a second?
I'll second, Carl.
Sounds like since your picture was there, Brad, it sounds like perfect.
Yep.
And all those in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion passes. The approval of the minutes. Okay, what we'll do is we're going to move the voting to the end of the meeting. So we have 3 topics we'll be voting on today, the number 1, 2, and 5. So appointing chair and co-chair and vice chair, the in-person versus virtual, and then the recommendation for the approval of the monument quote. So we'll hold those until the end. So Jeremy, if you don't mind, we'll start off with the golf operation and the financial update.
Yep.
Item
So
number 3.
golf operation, I do not have finances through May 31, 2023, unfortunately. Those are the latest that I received. I can tell you our gross revenues look very on par compared to last year, so that's good news. So there's no major concerns. I just don't have any updated expense reports to share with you just at this moment, unfortunately. So, but as far as operations are concerned, very pleased with how things are going. The golf course is certainly under renovation, and the customers at this point, knock on wood, seem to be very receptive of what's been taking place. And a couple of hiccups here and there, but other than that, it's been pretty good. So I have really no other operating updates other than that, unless you guys have questions for me.
Just 2 quick questions for me, Jeremy.
Mhm.
How did May look, and how do you sense June is looking so far? I get the sense they both are good.
Yep, we're right on par as compared to last year.
Okay.
I don't have expenses, as I stated, and I do know their gross revenues are very in line with what I expect them to be. They are ahead of what we budgeted, if that answers
Yeah,
your
that's
question.
what I thought. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Was there another question?
Yeah, the second one was more a comment. I mean, most customers just seem to be pleased with how things are looking and shaping up very quickly. So that was also my sense. I think I've mentioned to Brad and a whole bunch of people, it's like, wow, things are moving along quickly. So it's on schedule, right?
Yeah, it's on schedule. I think we might be dipping into the next agenda item.
Yeah, the update, right?
Yeah, so maybe we can. But yes, I mean, to answer your question, Carl, yeah, it's on schedule. I think that we're very happy with the progress. I mean, Mother Nature's been kind to us thus far.
Yes.
A big knock on wood there, because we're starting to shape the greens, and the last thing we really want is a huge rain washout, right? So, but so far so good. Yeah, no, it's pretty neat to see the progress. I do agree with what you said, that the golfers seem to enjoy seeing what actually goes into it, and hopefully it's enlightening to some. It's not just throwing down grass seed and hoping for the best. There's actually a big thought process that goes into this, and I truly hope that they are watching the progress, because it is remarkable what's taking place.
So
But
I didn't want to cut off any other questions for item number 3, which is the financial update and operations. Anyone else have questions, comments on item 3? And if not, Jeremy, thank you for the update about the renovation. I have also found it remarkable just to watch the whole process, and the trees down and the building of the greens and what goes into that. I mean, you can just see it step by step. It's really amazing to see. So great to see it's on schedule, and yes, it's great to see that Mother Nature has been cooperative with this.
Yeah. So that said, I mean, we can morph right into that number 4, which is the Pleasant View Road and course renovation update, right? So Pleasant View Road, I sent you over a timeline, right? So there should be no surprises there. As far as I know, things are going fine. I really don't have an update other than we're doing what we were anticipating to do, and they're doing what they're anticipating to do. So we've had no big concerns from customers, other than when their daily lives are disrupted due to the construction. They tend to take it out on us because they think we own the road, but it is what it is. We kindly remind them that we didn't wish for this to happen. So,
No.
But yeah, the course renovation. I mean, we were out there. We're starting to plant trees tomorrow in between the road and number 2. So that will be really exciting.
Oh, wow.
We're we're floating the greens, where we're finalizing the contours. We got done with 8 prairie today. And we're finalizing some bunkers. We finalized some bunker locations and shapings today. So yeah, it's moved along very nicely. I think over the next 2 weeks, a lot will come to fruition for everybody. So stay tuned on that. But I really don't have anything other than that, So yeah.
Since I'm full of questions tonight, Jeremy, I'm curious. How did the blasting? And the blasting is continuing. I saw from the agenda of things to happen. Everything has gone well with that. No issues.
No, 0 issues. I mean, we're accustomed to blasting because of Northwestern Stone. So this is something that's
okay.
A couple rumblings here and there, but nothing. No.
As Brad and Mark and I are accustomed to the Meinholz quarry far from us here.
Yep.
So same kind of thing. But I was just wondering if it was affecting the businesses, and it sounds like it hasn't, which is
I can't speak for other businesses, but as far as our facility is concerned, no problems.
Fantastic. That's great news. Okay, anything else on the Pleasant View Road and course update on the renovation?
I don't have much on Pleasant View Road. I mean, no, we're moving along nicely. So
when do you think they're going to start on the bridge? Is that
well? Do you want to morph that into the safety concerns, the location of the multi-use path?
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's move that in item 6. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
So, look, I've been saying this for years and years and years and years and years and years.
In many years.
I think the way that the city has dumped the multi-use path onto our driveway is an incredibly dangerous location. And with the gain of popularity of the multi-use path, in the future, I don't see any good coming out of this. And I just wanted, I don't know, I put this on the agenda per Carl's request, and there was an email thread that was going on, and I just stated my concern via an email to the city assistant engineer, the city administrator, and the city parks director, that I just don't think that it's in a safe location. So that's all I really have.
And hopefully we'll hear back on that, Jeremy, and there'll be some follow-ups. It sounded like they wanted to form a group to kind of look at it. Tom
Yeah.
had made a comment back to me that he thought that there was a separate path that was going to
Well,
be
but
for the bikes.
they're going to put this bridge in here without the path infrastructure, right?
Right.
And that's what's so frustrating to me is now it becomes our problem. And yeah, just yeah. So part of me wants to put a split rail fence there for the time being, and
Mhm.
but I don't know that'll pinch our semi drivers, and it's such a negative effect on us. Yeah, anyway, I mean, again, like, this is a broken record. I've been saying this for years, so.
But Jeremy, I'm looking at that diagram, the last page of the doc you sent. Why is it in the blue? Why does it do that? Like it looks like a U with the path. Is that because of elevation to like safely?
Yeah, are you talking about, Luke, to the let me pull it up, to the south, or to the, geez, that would not be the south, that would be to the to the south.
To the
Yep.
south, yeah.
That's due to elevation. Yep.
Okay. I just didn't know what that. Okay.
And that's fantastic, right? Because that stays off of the driveway, and then it tees up to the bridge location. The trouble is right now is these pedestrians and bikers, they don't know where to go. This bridge, the path just literally, here's our driveway and good luck, right? And then they're walking around the parking lot aimlessly going, well, where's the path? And then some of them go up to the golf course thinking that, oh, there's the path, and it's the cart path.
Right.
And then Mark Langworthy snap hooks it right into their, to their zone. And it's just,
You got it. You got it.
but I mean, we have, escorted bikers and walkers alike off of the golf course. And it's, and again, when we've got public paying in the upwards of $69 on a weekend to go play golf, I just don't think that that's right,
Mhm.
So, which this is something I've said before in other venues or circumstances. So, and I think it's great that they've got a pedestrian path. I think it's great that they're building this phenomenal bridge. I guess, I think they have plans. It frustrates me when we take the brunt of the completion of the infrastructure is all. And what also frustrates me is that nobody's ever asked, hey, how would this affect you? Right? If we built a bridge here and we built some things where people could come over there, how could this affect Pleasant View Golf Course in a positive or a negative way? Never once was I asked. So anyway.
So I'll follow up on that thread, Jeremy, and see if there are any plans to meet or to have a group of folks get together, talk about that. So it's Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I'm supportive of it. I just want there to be a plan.
Yeah.
That's all.
Agreed. And I was a little concerned when I heard back from one of the folks on copy that there might not be enough space between the current driveway and to build a separate path.
Right.
north
I
of the driveway.
don't know that there is. And so,
Yeah.
and then part of me wonders, okay, do we block that off where it's like, hey, no, the multi-use path, you cross over Pleasant View Road and you don't go towards Pleasant View Golf Course, right? Like until a solution is, because I genuinely think somebody's going to get hurt. We one of our staff today was saying at 7 or 6:30 this morning, there were two walkers walking right in the middle of the driveway as they took a left towards, so think about that curve and bam. And they were right in the middle of the driveway because they just don't know. They don't know. And that's what's the frustrating part is like, we have to give these people direction. And if you just dump them on the driveway, that's where they think that they belong. And it's just not, right? So, and you guys have seen it. I mean, we had a golf outing of 150 some players today. So you have roughly 150 cars taking off at 3 p.m. today. And then what leagues are like, at 3 p.m. We have 100, 200 cars coming at between 3. It's a lot, right? And it's just, somebody, I just worry somebody's gonna get hurt. That's all. I'm rambling now because I'm obviously pretty passionate about this, but
Well,
Just want it
yeah,
done
one
right.
point,
I want it
one
done
point I'd like everyone to know is that I had no idea that it was, I guess I never did the math, Jeremy, but it's like 1,000 cars a day.
I know I'm not joking. Like, we literally have 1,000 visitors, right? And they're coming and going and semis and delivery. It's so much. And that's such a tight corner. And you guys know, and that people run late for tea times. I'm not saying that should enable them to speed, but you know how it works, right?
We all do. Yeah.
You know, or obviously we have a liquor license here and we need to be careful with that. And we train and have licensed staff personnel, but I don't know what they bring in their bags, right? When they're on the golf course. Now we do the best we can to police it as within our authority, but you know, I want people to be safe. That's all. So, hey, Tom.
So what can we do about it? Do we
don't
think
know.
we're stuck or,
I mean, they're building this bridge, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's going in.
I mean, we got a bunch of money, let's hire an attorney.
Well,
No, I'm not joking. I mean, it's Jeremy, if somebody hits somebody coming down that road with even one beer in them, all hell is gonna break loose
I agree.
and it's gonna come right at the course. So
I agree. And that's what I'm saying is that like, this is, it will be Pleasant View Golf Course's problem, even though Pleasant View Golf Course didn't design this. Right?
won't be our problem, it'll be our fault.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna get hurt. Pleasant View Golf Course will be the one that has to clean it up.
So there's gotta be something that can be done.
And just like the bike park, when somebody gets injured, Pleasant View Golf Course staff is the one that's helping that injured person out. And that's fine. That's what we do, right? But it's one more thing that we've got.
So the ongoing real issue is probably gonna be pedestrians. So what
Well,
would happen?
pedestrians and bikers alike. There's a lot of bikers.
Well, yeah, with the bikers that, because the trailhead is going somewhere else.
Yeah, but there's a lot of bikers that use, I literally saw a guy today at 12:30 bike down into the construction zone, completely ignoring the trail closed sign, biking down where trucks are crossing back and forth and biking up our driveway to go to use the trails. They don't care, right? And like I said, if you give these bikers and pedestrians, if you build it, they will come mentality. It's going to get popular. And I just want
Okay,
people.
so
to
the
have-
only thing we can do is educate.
Yeah, right.
So-
Yeah.
So, and the only way we can do that realistically is signage. And it has to be, it can't be subtle. And it's got to be right there where the bridge comes in.
It needs, but that's not, we're not building this. It should be on pedestrians and whatever committee and parks and whomever.
Oh,
you
no,
know,
I
is
understand
putting this
all that.
forward.
I understand all that, but unless we get some signage out there that expressly, and you need to talk to the city attorney about this, but that expressly denies our liability for them trespassing on the road.
Well, so no.
I don't
the
see
road-
any other way around it.
The road is not, the road does not belong to Pleasant View Golf Course anymore.
But it's not a public road. It's not, doesn't have a street name.
It doesn't have a street name.
So people think it's a public road. And we close it off. And we gate it.
We gave it.
And when they get hit, it'll sure as hell be ours. Just
Yeah.
ask the city attorney how we avoid.
Well, but that's why I think this is on the agenda and it needs to get to the other committees, right? How can we make this a workable thing for all parties? And that's all I ask. That's all I ever asked is is instead of building this bridge and having a path be dumped on our course, let's find a way to make it positive for everybody. And I agree, that's tight there, which I know that we were looking at potentially, having soften the curve a little bit there, right? Not make it quite a 90-degree turn, but maybe an 80-degree turn, and then give the path a little bit more room between the fence and the road, right? That would be ideal. It would be ideal if a path continued running parallel with the driveway. That's what would be ideal, right? And then it continues towards the Erdman property, right?
Mhm.
Which I believe is the plan.
To meet with the trail there. So-
Yeah, and this is all stuff that we've said, and I think it's all going to come to fruition eventually. It just, I do want, and that's why I think Carl took the lead on this, and that's why, again, it's on the agenda. I do want help speaking to the other committees, right? As a citizen.
Right.
So if we go on record in the minutes,
We already have.
no,
We've
no,
already done it.
specifically requesting a response from the committees that would be involved.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is just step, I think let Carl reach out to he's got a relationship with Mark and with, who else, Carl, did you say? Well, Carl, why don't you, why don't you state your
Kylie,
plan?
there's Eric. There's also Sean, who could get involved as well. He's been very involved in the whole project anyway, Pleasant View Road. So yeah, could reach out to everyone and try to get some sense of how we should proceed, because we're very concerned.
Yeah,
Does biking belong to Parks, or is that the Biking Pedestrians Committee?
Eric said it belongs to Parks, Tom. So. And
So I got involved, Kendra and I got involved trying to get handicap parking downtown. And I appeared, well, I didn't appear, I appeared at their Zoom meeting. So if they have anything to do with it, I can go back to that committee also. Tell them what our concerns are and that they'd ought to be worried about it.
and I think that's how we should start this.
All right. I'll talk to Kendra and try to get on their next agenda.
And because another situation is their entire staff, or a lot of their staff, turned over, right? Matt is no longer with them, right? He took a
Right.
different job.
Correct.
And so Kylie, she might be unaware of us having these concerns. And I think we should just give her now she's aware, but I think
Now she's aware, right? Yeah.
right. But I think I like your idea, Tom and Carl, of getting in front of these committees and sharing our concerns. Yeah.
All right, I'll do pedestrian biking. Or whatever it's called.
No, you're gonna do parks, and I think Carl, he's got a relationship with Mark, if I recall
Right.
correctly, and he can do pedestrian and biking.
Mark, you
And
can get on one of
I
the
think
committees
and I think the
trying
stance
to look at
is,
their books.
and I think the stance is that Pleasant View Golf Course, we're not against it. We just want it to be, we want it there to have a safe direction for the folks.
Well, we very much want them to put a pathway up.
Right. And we want to keep them off the golf course.
Exactly.
It's like, here's where you go. This is the direction.
Right.
Right.
There's no questions, right?
Okay.
Now's the time to work these things out, because we want to make
Yeah.
sure that there's enough space there to do that, And that was a big concern I had when I heard back from Eric mentioning that there might not be enough space. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. We want to make sure there is.
Well, and that kind of warranted my response too. It's like, okay, so we're just gonna dump it on the driveway then?
On the driveway? Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, so
Jeremy,
I'm just a
Jeremy,
little behind. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
sorry, I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Luke.
I was just gonna ask a dumb question, which is, I'm late to the game. So is the intent in that drawing where it T-bones on the northern end, where the bridge crossed, that they literally want to have people go from that path onto that driveway? Or is that what the drawing is showing?
think the intention, so the multi-use path is obviously going to be traveling north-south, right? And I think the intention is for them to be able to cross Pleasant View Road safely,
Mhm.
right, to get home if they live in those apartments or down in Greenway. Yeah, so I believe that's part of the intention, and the other part is to link the pedestrians to have the ability to travel west.
Okay, but where the blue is going underneath the road on the top of that drawing, where it just sort of ends, because that's your driveway up to the course, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that the bridge will come over, and so they'll have a bunch of people kind of go who want to go west. They would just kind of come right out onto that road.
Literally right onto the driveway at a blind spot, and that's my concern.
Got it. I just wanted to make sure I understood that that's what this drawing is showing me. Okay,
Yep.
yeah, that's
It just doesn't, it's not very safe.
yeah. I don't see the logic in that.
Well, the original idea, which I'm sure you've all discussed, was there was going to be a parallel pathway,
Mhm.
and we were told there would be one. And now, interestingly enough, ironically enough, because of safety reasons in space on the north side, there can't be a path. So instead, we can put them on a half pitcher behind the wheel driveway. Okay, so Carl and I will do some other committee work and let it be known. And at some point, I think as a committee, we need also to get it into our minutes so it's official that we see a accident waiting to happen here.
Yeah, I'm happy to put that in there, but Tom, we've already done this.
Yeah, but
right, and what I'm happy to do is say, hey, we continue concerns about the pedestrian.
The lack of a
path
pedestrian
location.
walkway north of our drive.
Right.
Oh, thank you.
Well, it's not north. It's really there is no north of our driveway.
Right, it's
Or
west.
did you say lack of it?
Yes, lack.
Lack of it. Okay, got it. Okay. Yep.
Okay. Mark, you were going to say something?
Yeah, Mark, you had a comment, so.
Yeah, I think Luke kind of hit where I was coming from with what my thought was, is that, yeah, I clearly understand. I can hear what the problem is. I can't really visualize it though. And is there enough there, Jeremy? I've got league tomorrow. If I come down the driveway, I want to see really where the actual concern is, just to have a better idea of, because we want to go to these committees and say, hey, there's a problem here. But for me personally, I'd like to know, see specifically, to be able to explain what the problem is as we perceive it. Is it just the T-bone there where it comes in? Is that where it is? Or is it this U? Is this U really close to the driveway?
No, I
And
don't
you're
think
concerned,
that,
and you're
yeah.
concerned about people popping onto the driveway from that little U that looks very close to the driveway or the access easement area.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I would love it if they stayed on the the sidewalk or whatever that is, right?
Yeah,
I think the main concern right now is where that T is, Mark, and
Yeah.
then how it I call it dumping off onto the driveway.
yeah. Okay,
So the path just kind of ends at the driveway, right?
okay.
And then so that's concern number one, because it's just a safety location there, in my opinion. Concern number two, there's no direction for the pedestrians, because now there's no path.
Mhm.
And you should watch these folks. I mean, they're walking up here going like, where's the path? And they're literally looking for it, and they don't know, right? And we've had people think, like I said, that like down the driveway or down the driving range, excuse me,
Mhm.
they'll be like, oh, is this the trail? Like, no, that's not the trail. No, that's not it. Or they'll go down number one woods or one prairie thinking, oh, this is where we go. We don't see that as much in the summer because there's so much chaos going on, but we see that in the shoulder seasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And then the second or the third concern would be the pedestrians and the bikers are where the driveway kind of dip and what have you. They're literally, we find them in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And when I have, traffic going back and forth, I would prefer if they were on their own path.
We own the property to the quarry fence, right?
The city of Middleton does, yes.
So that's, well, but it's in our enterprise zone.
Yeah, and I don't know where the easements are though, Tom. I don't know if it's
So
right on the fence line.
my thought is a serious fence, green chain link or something from the quarry fence to our drive and a sign on it that says no bicycle or pedestrian access permitted.
Yeah, I mean, the trouble is, so I said that, I think before you popped on, the trouble is that turn, when we have semis coming in, I think that'll be too tight. Because now they'll block, well, they're probably already blocking two-way traffic when they have to make that turn.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
I do think
okay.
if we chain link that, or if we did a fence to the north of our driveway, I think it would pinch it too much.
All right.
But I like where your head's at.
And Jeremy, you don't think there'd be?
I haven't even exposed where my head is really at. I'm thinking a video of people banging off the front of vehicles. We'll just
What's
run it
cool?
as a continuous loop right there at the corner.
Luke, what were you saying?
I was just gonna ask, like, so yeah, so the chain link idea, but I was just thinking like a big old sign that it just said trail like end of trail. But do you think people would just walk around that and go to their
Well,
car? if they're
no,
parking
it
there?
would certainly alleviate until there's infrastructure in place, right?
Right.
So we could say, like we could direct people that's where you go, right? But the trouble is those that live down in the valley, Greenway Boulevard, they already know that that's how they access the bike trails, right? So are we going to close that off to the bikers? I don't know if we want to do that.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, we could start that fight again, I suppose.
No, I tell you what, the bike community has been absolutely fantastic. We put up signs. I don't know if you all saw that on the, where the parking used to occur.
Yeah, I saw that.
They've been absolutely wonderful. So
You and I are the only ones that remember all that.
you and me,
Yeah,
yeah.
all right. We have a game plan. I don't know when those committees meet, but we'll try to get on the next ones, Carl, and.
Yeah, we'll chat a bit about that, Tom, to see how we'll split that up and what we'll do. But yeah, I think it's a great idea to get involved with the committees and get on their agendas.
Okay, so we must have been down on 6.
Yeah, we skipped 1, 2, and 5. So for votes.
Well, we better jump back up to 1. The floor is open to nominations for chair.
I would like to nominate you once again, Tom.
There must be somebody else who wants this job, isn't there? No volunteers? Maybe
You
that's.
do
what I
such a
should
great
do.
job, Tom.
Well,
Well, it's
second.
dying for a
Great job.
second, Carl. And nobody
Somebody
want to
second
second
that?
that nomination?
I'll
Oh,
second it.
I
This
would
is
say
Mark.
that.
Thanks, Mark.
I'll second it.
All right, now we're also, nominations are open for a vice chair.
Well, hold on. Do we want to prove that?
No, we didn't. I was going to approve them both, but you're right. All those in favor of that appointment, say aye.
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 I have to vote because we're only 5 of us. I feel terrible doing that. Nominations are open for vice chair. Well, I would nominate Carl again.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have to vote too. Aye.
Yes, you do. All right,
Okay.
that part's done.
All right.
In-person or virtual meetings? I remain a fan of virtual meetings. It's ridiculously difficult for Jeremy during season to leave. In fact, he's probably got a couple of lessons after this already.
Nope. I got to go baseball game. Pick up my kid.
And we all have that problem.
But I had a fitting, so I had a fitting before this, right? So I literally, so Carl, I was in the fitting, selling clubs to somebody, but right when you were calling. So it's, yeah, it definitely helps me to stay here on property as opposed to having to jot down to City Hall.
Yeah, well, it helps me too, especially in the winter. So I don't know that we need a vote on this. We did have to decide how we wanted to meet. But just to make sure nobody misunderstands, I'll make a motion that the committee, after thorough discussion, has expressed its desire to continue meeting virtually. Waiting for a second.
I will
I'll second that.
All
Or
in
Carl
favor?
can second.
Brad, you
Aye.
Thanks,
can
Brad.
second that, Brad, because it isn't good for the chair and the vice chair to both say that. So yeah, you second that one, Brad. That's good.
Perfect.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right.
And then
Uh,
just to caveat on that, or not caveat necessarily, but just remember, in order to make it a valid meeting or have a quorum, we have to have our videos on.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, that should be noted also with our motion to approve. So
Did you do 3?
Yep.
we did 3. Yep.
So
We did
we're
3,
down
4.
to 5.
5. Yep.
Okay.
And by the way, we certainly did 6, so we covered that.
Yes. So Jeremy, you got 2 bids back,
Quotes.
quotes. What'd you think?
So Carrington does our work already. They've already done a lot of our work, so I was happy about that. And Blake said that he reached out to 2 other companies that declined to quote because of the state of their business. So,
Okay. So who do you want to hire?
I mean, I know Carrington, they play up here. They have 2 teams up here for league. They do our stuff already, and they were the lowest quote.
Tough to beat that. So you want approval from us for the Carrington quote?
Yeah, to recommend to finance the approval of Carrington quote.
That's the motion. Looking for a second.
Real quick, can I just ask a question? I might have missed this last week. So this was new that they had to move it. I know you were redoing the signage. We talked about that previously, but this is now we have to move it.
Yeah. We had to relocate the whole thing. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
It's currently not torn down, but it will be. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
You know where it is, right, Luke?
Yes. Yeah.
So, hey, Luke, actually, if you want to pull up that photo, like the with the multi-use path,
Mhm.
Yep. Looking at it.
and you've got the U, and then you've got, like that dark green. And then just below that, you have where it goes back to just satellite image, kind of blurred out.
Yep.
That's where the new sign will be going, somewhere right in there.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
going to be on the north side of our driveway as opposed to the south.
Got it.
I'm just visualizing the old sign,
So am
thinking
I.
it's right in the way of my snap hook.
Yeah.
That was Mark's snap hook.
Yeah. Right. Must be a wicked snap hook, Mark. We have a motion, I think, on the.
I believe we have a motion on the floor and we have a second. Who seconded?
I'll second it.
I think Luke did. Yeah. So
Who
Okay,
moved?
I'm sorry,
Tom,
Jeremy.
did you move?
I did, yeah.
Tom did. Yeah. Luke second.
All in favor of approving this bid quote acceptance, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, carries. Capital
also-
Reserve,
Oh, I was just gonna say, I finally saw how different the elevation is. Last time we talked about the sign, I kept picturing the big hill at the top and I didn't understand. They finally dug out that
Right.
it's dramatic.
It is dramatic.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right, Luke.
Capital Reserve discussion.
And Luke, like I know we're beating a dead horse here, but and now think about the bridge. Like people are gonna want to walk over that.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Like that's what
Nobody's gonna want to cross the road
No.
unless they're already on it.
So capital reserve discussion. So I did reach out to capital reserve advisors, just as a heads up, and they're going to get me. So we spoke maybe, let's see, midweek last week, and they're going to look into getting me a quote to update the capital reserve plan. So just,
Right. Good.
yep. And what we'll probably do is get it onto the budget for 2024 and have them come out in 2024. And then the good news is some of the greens, obviously we're going to have the renovation done. We're going to be working on the maintenance building. So, there's, good things coming. I think we're moving in the right direction. So it'd be really good for them to see that and take that off of the list. And speaking of which, we do have an initial meeting set up with Blake to talk about the maintenance plans and then start discussing the clubhouse master plan vision with EV carts, solar, pavilion, storage, things like that. So
Good.
that's all in the works.
Fantastic.
That's great. Yeah, great to hear.
Okay. We don't have a common council report.
Yep.
Future agenda items. This doesn't need to be a future agenda item, but I do want to talk about it before the budget gets built. And that's next year's rates. I know they're eventually going to move. And
What do you want to talk about it, Tom?
I'd like the committee to be part of the discussion on rates.
Okay. So it's going to be based on the expenses, right?
Sure. Of course.
Yeah.
Which we're dealing with really well right now.
We are. Yeah.
So
But the
I
rates.
just think it's an appropriate discussion for this committee.
Okay. And so curious. Then I'm going to challenge you guys to go do your homework and find out what everybody else's rates are,
Sure.
because we are the lowest. We are one of the lowest right now.
I know that. And
Yeah.
that's Jeremy, that's one of the amazing things about P-View.
Yep.
is
And I will
it's an
say this.
extraordinary value.
I will say this. I will not get rid of dynamic pricing. And if you want me to,
No,
you might need to find a
Nope.
new person to run this thing.
Nope.
So, you guys can weigh in on rates all you want, but in the end, I know what is the best thing for this operation based on the expenditures, based on what I see on a daily basis. I'm here 70 hours a week. I live here. This is something now I'm not opposed to taking advice, but this is something that I know. Like I know this. And so I feel like I have done a good job at managing the rates and managing our gross revenues, especially versus expenses. And I do think it needs to be adjusted next year based on what we are going to do to this golf course. And I do also think we need to take care of those that have been the most loyal to us, which are pass holders and the outings that have gotten through the renovations with us, and the league members that have gone through renovations with us. So I do think that those are all things that I've already thought about, right?
and I'm looking forward to
but-
just talking through those things as we look at the rates.
But I think it needs to be a budget discussion and not a rate discussion. That's all I'm
Agree,
asking.
Because the rates are the revenue side.
Right.
It, of course, has to be a budget discussion.
Right. So I think this can be because we're going to start getting into budget. I don't think, how come we don't talk about food price? Like what's the cost of the hot dog?
I didn't catch the
know.
question.
Well, how come we don't talk about what's the price of a hot dog?
Price of a,
Hot dog, or what about a Miller Lite? Those are rates,
why do we not talk about those things? if you were charging $10 for a pint of beer, I'd want to talk to you about it.
Mhm.
But you're not doing that. And you're
We're
not charging
close.
too much for golf either.
We're
I don't,
close.
I don't think you need to get defensive about this.
I'm not, I'm not getting defensive. It's, I don't understand why it needs to be just the rates. And I caution that because you guys all play here. Right? So there's a conflict of interest. And my job is to operate this operation. Okay? And I'm gonna defend Pleasant View Golf Course because that's my job, right? And I already hear some of the wheels turning, but I know what's right for this place. And if we're going to talk rates, that's fine. I need you to take yourself out of a consumer and into a budgetary mindset of, what does it take for us to move forward with supplementing staff and taking care of staff and taking care of the things that we need to take care of here on property versus, well, we should move rates one way or another. I want us to work from the ground up versus the other way around is all I'm asking, which is why I want it to be a budgetary conversation.
I think that's fine.
I certainly don't
issues
want to
with
get
that at
caught
all.
up in all that minutia of the rates and all of that sort of, let's prepare, the budget's prepared. We approve it, and then Jeremy, it's up to you to hit the numbers.
And I think
However you have to do it.
and I think it is smart for us to look from, okay, if we want to add a staff member in golf department, or if we want to add a staff member in food, I think it's smart that we go, okay, what's that going to cost us?
Right.
And how do we make sure we don't go underwater?
Mhm.
That's where my mind goes, right? But I can tell you right now, I mean, this play, you should see it up here right now. It's bonkers. It's bonkers. And I go to other courses and I'm like, gosh, it's pleasant. It's nice.
It's a good value.
It's a great value. It's a great value.
Well, and I think that's what I get caught up in with Pleasant View. One, I love the course, but two is when you look at the value, right? You can go somewhere like U Ridge. It's a really nice course, but you're paying close to $100 a round.
Right.
Right. I can play 3 rounds at Pleasant View, maybe 2.5. Right. So when I want to spend time, Carl and I played on Father's Day, right? That's where I see more value in that. And then you look at the staff, right? So staff at Pleasant View has me sold. You have an experience there when you check in, when you meet the grill staff, you're grabbing beers or whatever else, that you don't get at another facility. So for me, that's where I think the value is. And Jeremy, I trust you 100% with how you're setting rates and what you're doing. I think I was a little bit on the fence this year with not decreasing rates because of all the construction, right, as a consumer. But I think that's been blown out of the water, seeing all the numbers currently, right? Like we're a little bit ahead of last year at this point.
Right.
And there's major construction going on. Like 1-9 has a couple temporary greens and people are still coming out to play. And it's not just the course, it's the people. So if we are going to have discussions, I don't want to lose sight of the people that run the course and make this work every day. If we're going to have budget conversations, it doesn't have to be a topic for next time, but I want to make sure that we're going to make sure that they're taken care of as well.
And I think, thank you, Brad, because I think that's where I want this to be a focus. It's not rates is the focus. It's what is the vision for Pleasant View and its staff, and then we build the rates around that.
Around that.
Right.
Right. Yep. 100%.
I think if we just focus on rates, we're doing it wrong. That's just my opinion. I don't know. But to go back to your point, Brad, with the lake course, so we do have it discounted, right now we have it as $19 as the most, right?
And that's why I love
thought-
dynamic pricing.
Yeah. And
I love that.
I thought about going lower. The trouble is our par 3 course is $10.
Yep.
And I'm like, gosh, I don't know. I'd pay $9 more to go play the lake course,
Which is, yeah, hit drivers. Absolutely.
right. So but then the woods and the prairie fluctuate between $21 and $27. So the woods and the prairie are more. But we also didn't go higher we're not nearly higher than what we were last year. And so one
Right.
would argue with inflation and all that stuff of us not increasing, we actually are discounting, even though it doesn't seem like it. So
Yeah. And I think you would be hard pressed. And like you said, we're probably the lowest price in Dane County, if not the other surrounding areas. I mean, what do we pay on Sunday? Well, Carl's a member, like $49 to play on Father's Day, right? Like you're
Oh,
not
no,
going
I'm
to
a
find that
member too.
anywhere.
well,
Right.
and that's just it. It's for what the golf course is, woods and prairie right
Mhm.
now. I think that's a great value, right?
Yeah.
I just took my father up to Trapper's Turn, right? It was $100 a person.
Right.
It's $210, I think was the bill or something like that, so.
Yeah, and I haven't played Trappers. I don't know how it compares, but I just look at that of, if somebody's going to spend money, some are going to have that expendable cash to go and play a Trapper's Turn or, somewhere else that's a little bit pricier in the area. But if I want to get a couple courses in and spend that kind of cash, I'm going to go to Pleasant View and get 3 rounds in, or play different 9s, right? Just to get back to, what I'm afraid of is if you're looking at increasing rates, then we're going to see a drop in play, is what I envision. I think there's a good group of people that are continue to play this course year after year after year, and like you said, hopefully reward those loyal members. But I don't want to just go after the cash, right? Like we've got a good amount left over at the end of the year. There's a good revenue coming in. I'm just leery of increasing just for that, right? I think we have to look at other things as well, but.
I'm concerned,
I agree.
that if we increase rates, I'm going to say significantly, because statistically I can be 5% or less. I'm really not concerned about a decrease in play, because the tee sheet is making a crap load of money already, which is great for the course, great for what Jeremy wants to get done at the course, great for what I think we support. My concern is turning it into too much of a cash cow. The city suddenly says, they got rules of money. I don't know what they're paying us in pilot now, but let's double it. So I'm looking at it from that side. If we make a lot more money, the city's going to want a lot more money. They're going to say, do you really need to carry $1 million every year?
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. We can't look at it that way, right?
Well, but you have to
We
worry
need to
about what the
supplement, we need to
city will do.
supplement the staff. Then we don't have, right now the staff is running thin, right? These guys work 6 days a week on holidays, on weekends, they run thin. And I would love to figure out how to not run thin. And that's what I'm talking about is so if we can hire one more staff member in the golf department, with benefits and like a nice job, a decent job, right? Then yeah, okay, we don't have $50,000 net at the end of next year, maybe.
I'm all for that.
That's what I want to protect, Tom. It's not, I hear what you're
Jeremy,
saying.
I'm totally in support of that.
Yeah.
And I think the rates should cover all of those costs and continue to generate the kind of reserves that we know we're going to need.
Yeah, correct, correct. Yeah.
All right, we've kind of beat this all the way around.
But I think this is a
Budget
good
discussion.
budget discussion, right? So and I think it's gonna go on regardless because I'm gonna get budget stuff either way, right?
Mhm,
It
of
typically
course.
happens in July. And I
Right.
think if I recall correctly, we have to have budget approved in August.
Right,
So budget discussion is a good one as opposed to a rate discussion. I think a good budget discussion and a vision for Pleasant View would be really good.
okay,
And Jeremy, I think it fits nicely into like, you talked about the capital reserve, but like the strategic plan of the course, you think about the experience customers have, you think about wanting to have a staff that's taken care of and redundancy with your staff to have multiple cover, like those are things that fit into the strategic plan. And then, oh, by the way, we need to have rates to cover all the things for that budget. Like, so I'm with everybody else of like, I don't really want to get into any detail on the rates, but like thinking about like, these are the things we want the experience to feel like. So for example, maybe slightly raising rates so that you could do bigger gap between tea times or a littler, my point just being that's an experience thing, not so much. Anyway,
Well, but Luke, you're spot on. Like we did 12-minute intervals the other day on the 18-hole side, and it was unbelievable. And I know Mark, I don't know if you guys played on, you typically play on Fridays, at least I see you up here. I don't know if you experienced that or not, but that's got to be nice as opposed to 10. Remember, we used to be at
Yeah.
8.
Yeah.
And I as a golfer would pay an extra $5 knowing that, or what, $5-10 knowing that you're at 12-minute intervals as opposed to 10-minute intervals. And then now the golf course is being taken care of because we have less people out there, right? Because there's less ball marks. I mean, it's not significantly less. It would probably cut us 20 people a day, whatever that number is. I figured that out, but it would be a better experience to you, Luke. Like, I totally agree with that.
moving
sorry.
on. I'm moving on. We can have all of these conversations again.
But like the thing is though, Tom, is I do think we should actually get this, like, what is the vision? And maybe next year's too soon because we got to figure out like the master plan up here. Do we want a pavilion? Where are we going EV? That's another thing. The city wants us to go EV. I can tell you our budget for rental cars is going to go up a little bit, like $200,000 over the course of 5 years.
Sure.
Right. So I think that we have this is actually a really good conversation. I think that we just have some questions we need to have answered. Right.
I agree.
And that's why I'm excited for that master plan that's taking place up here at the clubhouse. Where do we want to, with debt coming to an end in the very near future, where do we see Pleasant View Golf Course? What are the things that we want as you guys as citizens and as you guys as customers? What is it that you see Pleasant View Golf Course having? Is it, no, we want 12-minute intervals. We want this, we want that. What are those things? I don't know. Good value.
idea. Let's turn ourselves into a bank. We'll loan money to the city.
But I agree with Brad. Like, it needs to be a good value too.
Nobody laughs at these jokes.
I'm sorry. I'm in zone mode. So.
Sorry, Tom, the mic wasn't on.
All right. Future agenda items.
Budget.
3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Any others?
And budget.
And budget, yeah, which
Right.
we can continue the conversation tonight. Okay.
Anything else? Well, gentlemen, maybe we're done. We have any new members yet, Jeremy?
No, we do not.
No. Okay, I'm open to hearing somebody say we should adjourn.
Next meeting though,
Oh, good call, Mark.
Oh, good
do we want to
point.
schedule that?
Yeah, and we will need to have one, guys, for that budget talk.
Mhm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think of Monday, the 17th?
Works for me.
Works for me too. Yeah.
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay.
And before we adjourn, just to thank you to everybody for attending tonight. So very, very much appreciated.
Okay, oh, that's not gonna work. According to my calendar, I'll see you all at the next meeting at 9 AM. Probably should fix that. Okay, we are done. Thank you all. Sorry I was late. Brad would have arrested me had he seen me out there.
I think we need to move to adjourn. Tom, is that?
I thought we kind oh, I was in the process of having
Or
that.
you were, yes. So I will move that we adjourn.
I need a second.
Seconded.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
So
Aye.
it was Carl and who, I'm sorry?
Luke,
Give it to Luke.
Ah,
give it to Luke.
I gotta earn them. I gotta earn them.
Such a giving guy. Such a giving guy. I never knew that was one of the CPA gifts was.
There you go.
giving. I thought it
All
was
about
generally the
giving.
other way around.
Yeah.
All right, good night, everybody.
All right,
Good
thanks,
night.
guys.
Take care.
Night, everyone.
Yep.
Bye.
See ya.